The main reason why he added all the free attribute points to his strength is that he doesn't have any lethal skills now, and the increase in intelligence is not too big. Moreover, he has the undead ghost armor, and the defense is sufficient. Now the main consideration is the attack. After all, the final boss is difficult to kill, and he is still a nightmare. If you want to kill the boss faster, you must increase your attack power. Liu Yan's current attack skills are only Skeleton Elite and Undead Rage. He doesn't have that kind of direct attack skills, so he might as well add it directly to his strength to directly increase his own attack strength. Anyway, the Undead Monarch is a dual cultivator of physical law, strength, 1-5 physique, 1-3 agility, 12 intelligence, 2-0 after adding 4 free attribute points. Liu Yan's strength directly became 15, and then Liu Yan added that 1 skill attribute point to the Skeleton Elite. The first 3 level upgrades of all skills only require 1 skill attribute point, but after the 3rd level, depending on the level, more skill attribute points are required to improve. Therefore, adding skill attribute points to the 2 newly acquired skills, Skeleton Elite and Undead Rage, is the best choice at present. Looking at the wooden staff in his hand, Liu Yan raised his eyebrows. Then he directly took the wooden staff and came behind the 2 Skeleton Elites, and started to attack the skeleton soldiers with the wooden staff in front of him. Anyway, I don't have any other offensive skills, so I can only fight by myself. Liu Yan's current strength has reached 15, and his attack is quite impressive. As the skeleton soldiers in front were beheaded, Liu Yan continued to level up and soon reached level 5. All the free attribute points obtained by Liu Yan were all added to strength. Soon, Liu Yan's power reached 31. Generally speaking, when candidates upgrade in the college entrance examination, their physical attributes will be improved more evenly, which will increase the tolerance for mistakes in the face of the monsters behind. But Liu Yan had absolutely no consideration in this regard. There is only one thing he considers, and that is the number of undead creatures killed and the speed of customs clearance. Therefore, without any other attack skills, Liu Yan directly piled up the strength attribute. And the Skeleton Elite was also upgraded to level 3 by Liu Yan, and the Undead Fury was upgraded to level 2. Skull Elite, level 3. Summon 2 Skeleton Elites to fight for you. Skeleton Elite attributes: Strength, 18, Constitution, 20, Agility, 8, Intelligence, 0. Skull Elites die in battle and enter a cooldown. The cooling time is 5 minutes. Undead Rage, level 2 enhances the control of all attributes of undead creatures, instantly doubles it for 40 seconds, and increases the movement speed of charging undead creatures by 35%. The cooling time is 3 minutes. Both skills have been improved, and now it is easier for the Skeleton Elite to face the skeleton minions in front. And Liu Yan himself was even more terrifying. From the beginning, he had to hide behind the Skeleton Elite and use a wooden staff to sneak attack. With the Skeleton Elite attacking several times, he could kill a skeleton soldier. Until now, with the wooden staff in Liu Yan's hand, he was able to knock the skeleton soldiers in front of him into the air and kill them. After all, now Liu Yan's power has reached the terrifying 31, coupled with the talent skill Undead Deterrence, which reduces half of the opponent's defense. These skeleton soldiers are even more crispy than crispy skin in front of Liu Yan. More and more skeleton soldiers appeared in the swamp ahead, and dozens of skeleton soldiers charged directly towards Liu Yan. Good come. Liu Yan asked the Skeleton Elite to defend the skeleton soldiers on both sides, and only went forward, and the wooden staff in his hand swung out as a long sword. Boom! Crack! A violent muffled sound sounded, and the skeleton soldier concentrated by the wooden staff made the sound of grinding teeth, and then the body shattered directly. The 6 skeleton soldiers were instantly killed by Liu Yan. Soon, Liu Yan passed through a swamp of the dead in front of him, and behind him was a frame of skeletons scattered all over the place. It's a pity that these skeleton soldiers don't have the power of soul, otherwise their other talent skill, Nether Soul Eater, will be able to play a role. At this time, the swamp in front had already turned into a blue-gray, and the skeletons that emerged from it were covered with blue-gray moss, but their breath was stronger. Skull Captain level 7 strength, 25, Constitution, 20, Agility, 8, Intelligence, 2 skill, Bone Poison. Creatures attacked by Captain Skeleton will be attacked by bone poison, causing the attacked part to become bone and reducing defense by 10. The skeleton soldier has become a skeleton captain. His strength has increased a lot, and he has more skills. However, Liu Yan was overjoyed when he saw that the intelligence of the opponent's attribute was 2. Having the intelligence attribute means that the opponent has the power of the soul, and his other innate skill, Nether Soul Eater, can play a role. Liu Yan rushed up impatiently, wanting to test out his innate skill Nether Soul Eater. Quickly rushed out, Liu Yan came directly to a skeleton captain who had not yet emerged from the swamp. The wooden staff in his hand swung up and smashed it directly on the opponent's head. Boom! The head of the skeleton captain, who had not yet fully drilled out, flew out, and the body that emerged from the swamp stiffened for a while, and then there was no movement. Another instant kill? A ray of light emerged from Captain Skeleton's body and submerged into Liu Yan's body. At the same time, a gray aura also emerged from Captain Skeleton's body and quickly entered Liu Yan's body. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully obtaining soul fragments, 2/100. Yu reading www.uukansha.com. Collect all soul fragments to obtain soul crystals. Soul crystals can be used to enhance exclusive skills and exclusive weapons, and can also enhance their own strength, which is an important resource for the undead monarch. Listening to the voice that emerged in his mind, Liu Yan touched his chin. It turns out that obtaining 1% of the opponent's power is in this form, manifested through soul fragments. Before, Liu Yan thought that he would directly get 1% of the opponent's 4 attributes. Exclusive skills and exclusive weapons? Don't know when it will be available. Killing a skeleton minion can get 2% of the soul fragments. It takes 50 skeleton captains to condense into a soul crystal. Of course, if you kill high-level monsters and gain soul power, you will get more soul fragments. Liu Yan's thoughts surged, and then he shook his head. No matter what, let's go through the customs first. Liu Yan greeted the 2 skeleton elites, holding a wooden staff, and began to kill the skeleton captains that appeared around them to move forward, trying to speed up the customs clearance. What Liu Yan didn't know was that his customs clearance scene was already broadcast live, and it attracted the attention of all the teachers and students. In the eyes of other teachers and students, Liu Yan is a necromancer. And a necromancer, holding a wooden staff, fights close to him, and uses a wooden staff to attack undead skeletons? This is simply the most outrageous thing they have ever seen. And what's even more outrageous is that this guy actually has an effect. I don't know if it's because of his proficiency, but this guy actually killed an undead skeleton with a wooden staff behind him. It's like chopping melons and vegetables. All the teachers and students in the school were confused when they saw this scene. As early as when Liu Yan entered the secret realm, many students paid attention. After all, this guy chose the difficulty level of Nightmare. However, most teachers and students just regarded Liu Yan as a grandstanding clown, and did not pay too much attention, but focused on Zhou Xinggao, who also chose the difficulty level of Nightmare. After all, Zhou Xinggao has a strong family background, and there are sufficient external resources to improve his strength. Coupled with the warrior profession, it is still possible to clear the Nightmare level difficulty. And Zhou Xinggao's performance is also remarkable, constantly moving his body on the swamp channel, avoiding the attacks of the surrounding skeleton soldiers, and then launching a counterattack. Before the upgrade, Zhou Xinggao was still a little embarrassed. Rolling, shoveling, walking on all fours. Zhou Xinggao used the limit of what he could do to avoid the attacks of the surrounding skeleton soldiers, and his body was soon covered with dust. Every evasion is a frightening one. It is a dangerous escape from the attack, and then the attack. However, Zhou Xinggao still suffered some injuries, and blood began to appear on his body. But after killing a few skeleton soldiers, Zhou Xinggao began to level up, his physical strength improved, and it was much easier to deal with it. According to this trend, although the process may be more dangerous, Zhou Xinggao still has a good chance to pass the Nightmare difficulty assessment. The corner of Zhou Xinggao's mouth also evoked a smile. Obviously he was very confident in himself. This is the normal performance of the Nightmare difficulty assessment. Every step is thrilling, but it also contains vitality, fighting a path in the face of many difficulties. But with the exclamation of "fuck" that Liu Yan has passed the Nightmare level skeleton minion area, everyone's eyes shifted. A group of people's eyes fell on the exclaimed student, and he hurriedly explained that he was wrong. It's not a lie, it's a lie. But when everyone's eyes fell on the curtain showing Lu Yan's situation, they were all stunned. Slot lying? This? How can that be? A necromancer was even faster than Zhou Xinggao in the nightmare difficulty test? And it's not just a little bit faster. Is this really the weakest necromancer? Why do I feel that this guy is so powerful? Be confident, it's not that you feel so strong, or it's just outrageous. Who can explain to me how he was able to summon the skeleton elite when he just transferred to necromancer? Is it a matter of summoning a skeleton elite? Who can tell me why he can kill a skeleton soldier with a wooden staff? Rush up straight with a wooden staff? Could this be the legendary battle mage? Oh no, is it the battle undead mage? Gee, this guy is definitely on the hook. Check it out. It must be checked. Teacher, are necromancers so strong? I will also transfer to necromancers in the future. Looking at Lu Yan's outrageous performance, some students already wanted to change careers as necromancers. The teacher who was questioned looked embarrassed, saying that necromancer is the weakest combat profession. But to say that the necromancer is very strong. There is no such statement at all. The surrounding noise entered the ears of the principal Zhang Fengjiu, causing him to frown slightly. Anyone else want to change careers to become a necromancer? How stupid! Didn't that guy named Lu Yan teach you a lesson? Zhang Fengjiu turned his attention to the curtain showing Lu Yan's situation, and wanted to use him as a negative teaching material to give the students in the first and second grades a good idea of how the necromancer is. However, when his eyes fell on Lu Yan's curtain, Zhang Fengjiu was stunned. Grass? Are you all in the second area of the undead swamp? My mother, is this guy really a necromancer? Why did you rush up with a wooden staff? What? Killing a skeleton captain with a single staff? Zhang Fengjiu's eyes almost didn't pop out, and when he got to his mouth, he swallowed it directly. Looking at Lu Yan's performance, Wang Mud immediately became excited. What a good student, what a high level of comprehension. He directly realized the basic skill of the skeleton soldier to the skeleton elite. As well as that strength, there must be a lot of training on weekdays. It is estimated that he is training day and night. I can imagine his hard work. Good seedling, really good seedling. Why didn't I find it before? Otherwise, I would have to supplement him with qi and blood supplements to make him go to the next level. Almost all the eyes of all the teachers and students turned to Lu Yan's curtain. Looking at Lu Yan's performance, exclamations came out. It's awesome. It's estimated that even a 10th level warrior can't match this power. Is this guy really a necromancer? This movement is so smooth, killing a skeleton captain with a wooden staff. This guy's strength is terrifying. Have you seen that? Senior Lu Yan's movements are also very elegant. So far there is no dust on his body. Woo woo woo. He's so handsome, people can't stand it anymore. Going to get a fever. Yu reading www.uukansha.com. Senior Lu Yan is mine, and I paid attention to Senior Lu Yan first. Lu Yan's performance not only piqued their impression of Lu Yan, but also directly subverted their impression of the necromancer. Lu Yan held a wooden staff, just like holding a battle axe. In order to speed up the clearance, he kept slashing forward. Even the skeleton elite he summoned was thrown behind him. With a staff and a skeleton captain, it is heartwarming to watch, and it makes people addicted to it. Senior Lu Yan is really a heifer flying on a plane. He's amazing. He should be the first in history to pass the level in the nightmare level assessment, right? Yeah, one staff and one skeleton captain is simply too violent. Combined with the contrast formed by his necromancer, it is a perfect presentation of violent aesthetics. It's enjoyable. If I can pass the college entrance examination so heartily and vividly at that time, I don't want nightmare difficulty. I can be content with ordinary difficulty. All the students were excited, as if they were brought into Lu Yan's perspective. It's not too happy to see an undead creature next. Lu Yan's operation had already blinded their eyes, making them a little overwhelmed with excitement. If it is said that Senior Lu Yan has been violently clearing the customs all the way, it is really too showy. It's not just a show. If you pass the customs like this, you will be the only show, the show of the flower, and the new show of good luck. Don't say it. Now Senior Lu Yan's performance has already given me to Zayama. Everyone was staring at the curtain, wanting to see if Lu Yan could violently clear the customs all the way. If you can really do it, Then it's like Xiu's mother opening the door for Xiu. The show is home. On the playground, all the teachers and students were staring at the curtain in front of them, checking Lu Yan's situation. Some students even took out their mobile phones to take pictures, and prepare to post them on the internet after the end, to get a wave of traffic. After all, it was obvious that Lu Yan's performance would definitely cause an uproar. At this time, a hesitant voice sounded. Do you think that Senior Lu Yan's necromancer doesn't seem to be the same as other necromancers? I checked the video about the Battle of Undead Mages. Basically, they control undead creatures to fight, and they have no combat power, but Senior Lu Yan people's necromancers all call undead creatures to fight, and then release the undead skills powerfully. And what about Lu Yan? Directly hold the wooden staff and rush up to do it? Violence is violence, it looks cool, but I always feel that something is not right. That's true. Senior Lu Yan's physical attack seems to be very high. The next undead creature is still at the level of a nightmare. Obviously, the strength attribute is very high. I asked. Before the awakening of the combat profession, Senior Lu Yan's strength attribute was very low, and it was not as exaggerated as it is now. It can even be said that it is far inferior to that of ordinary students. If this is the case, there is only one possibility that Senior Lu Yan has such a strong physical attack now, and that is that Senior Lu Yan can control the power after the upgrade, and raise all this power to the power level. Some students noticed the anomaly, and after a brief thought, they came to such a conclusion. This seems to be able to explain why Senior Lu Yan's power is so strong. After all, I saw Senior Lu Yan from the beginning. When he first entered, his power was not so exaggerated at all, but after the control level, such things as power, really can it be done? In the cognition of most students, the power of upgrading is completely uncontrollable, usually focusing on 2 or 3 attributes, but controlling oneself and concentrating on one attribute is somewhat beyond their cognition. Of course it can be done. This is talent. Some people have such special talent. For example, some people are naturally close to magic elements. This is talent. After becoming mages, their combat power is much stronger than ordinary mages. So, Senior Lu Yan is also this kind of talent, but he is a necromancer after all. Is it really good to upgrade his attributes to strengths? Yes, although the performance is very strong now, if the intelligence is not high. Later, the effect of many necromancer skills will be greatly reduced. The surrounding students started talking, and most of them thought that Lu Yan was overdrawing his future potential by doing this. How do they know that Lu Yan is the undead monarch, and he is a dual cultivator of magic and martial arts, and Lu Yan has many more channels to increase his physical attributes than they imagined? Wang Mu couldn't help shaking his head when he heard the discussions around him. What a bunch of little fools. Even if Lu Yan has overdrawn his potential now, it's totally worth it. The score for clearing the nightmare level is extremely high. If Lu Yan really succeeds in clearing the level, he can even enter the top 10 famous schools in the country. The resources awarded at that time will be enough to make up for his overdraft. Besides, the increase in strength is not a bad thing. Even for a necromancer, the increase in strength is good, but the improvement is only better in terms of intelligence and physique. Moreover, Lu Yan's decisiveness is something that other candidates do not have. The college entrance examination is not about attribute strength, but the response and results in the face of monsters. Every time Lu Yan's attack is clean and neat, he doesn't have any fear in the face of monsters. Such a person will have more consideration in the scoring, and the score will be higher. Wang Mu knows that the college entrance examination focuses on the overall performance of candidates. From the current point of view, no matter whether Lu Yan is overdrawing his potential or not, he will get a high score and enter the top universities. However, there were some jealous students around, and after hearing the surrounding discussions, they showed disdain. It turned out to be like this. I thought it was amazing, but it's just overdrafting my potential. It's just a clown jumping on the beam. That's right, overdrafting yourself like this. Although you can perform well in the college entrance examination, what's the use of a powerful necromancer? What a stupid decision. Zhang Fenjiu listened to the words around him, shook his head, and said directly, the college entrance examination, the college entrance examination, it is the performance of the college entrance examination, so don't be sour here. Some people have no way to overdraw their potential in the college entrance examination to improve their grades. Besides, didn't you watch Lu Yan's battle scene carefully? How many of you can do such a clean battle? Take a good look, study hard, don't look sour all day, don't be ashamed. Although Zhang Fengjiu thought that a necromancer who chose the nightmare difficulty level was a joke, but after seeing Lu Yan's battle scene, he was already convinced by Lu Yan. This guy is not trying to gain attention, but really wants to clear the nightmare level difficulty, and it is very possible to do so. Whether it is the courage to choose nightmare level difficulty, the decisiveness to concentrate the upgrade power on strength, or the smooth movement in battle, it is not something that ordinary students can do. As the principal of number 4 high school, Zhang Fengjiu does not know how many candidates he has met. He was certain that Lu Yan's future achievements were limitless, even if his combat profession is a necromancer. Yu reading www.uukanshu.com. Lu Yan in the secret mirror didn't know that he had already caused an uproar in the whole school. At this time, he had passed through Captain Skeleton's area and went deep into the swamp of the dead. The surrounding swamps became dry, but in front, there were hundreds of Necro Knights waiting for Lu Yan's arrival. After all, it was on nightmare difficulty. Hundreds of Necro Knights in front did not attack the candidates in 3 or 5 as on normal difficulty, but all of them directly charged towards Lu Yan. Hundreds of necromancers charged, but still brought a lot of pressure, causing Lu Yan's eyes to narrow slightly. Looking at these necromancers, Lu Yan did not have the slightest fear. Instead, he was eager to try. Through the area of Captain Skeleton just now, Lu Yan has been upgraded to level 8. The free attribute points are still all added to the strength, and Lu Yan's current strength has reached a terrifying 43. Moreover, when Lu Yan was upgraded to level 8, he also awakened a skill. The exclusive skill of the Undead Monarch. Nether Soul Scythe rank, exclusive skill level 0, condensing the power of the undead. The sickle summoned from the nether increases the attack by 30%. The duration is 3 minutes, and the cooling time is 5 hours. Note, Nether Soul Scythe can act on the soul, and attacks with Nether Soul Scythe can cause 50% soul damage. Note, the Wraith Scythe can be condensed into an entity after being upgraded to level 10 and converted into an exclusive weapon, which is not limited by the duration and cooling time. Note, consuming a soul crystal can double the effect of the Wraith Scythe, but the duration will be reduced by 1 minute. Nether Soul Scythes, a very special exclusive skill. Summoning a sickle attack can increase the attack power. The important thing is that half of the attack power will act on the soul to form a soul attack. You must know that no matter any creature, the defense of the soul is the weakest, even the necromancer who plays with the soul. 50% of the power will act on the soul, causing soul damage, which can basically be said to be true damage that ignores defense. Moreover, after the Ghost Scythe is upgraded to level 10, it can also be transformed into a physical state and become an exclusive equipment, which is not limited by the cooldown and duration of the skill. The most terrifying is the last attribute. Consuming a soul crystal can double the effect of the Ghost Scythes. In other words, using a soul crystal can increase the attack power of the Nether Scythe to 60%, and the soul damage caused will also reach 100%. It is equivalent to the attack that falls on the opponent's body will also fall on the opponent's soul. Of course, this is useless for undead creatures with 0 intelligence. After all, they have no soul. But whether it is Captain Skeleton or the necromancer rushing in front of him, they are all high-level undead with souls, and they will be attacked by the soul of the ghost sickle. Looking at the hundreds of necromancers rushing towards him in front of him, Lu Yan's thoughts turned sharply, and then he made a decision. Undead underworld armor? With the display of this epic skill, the power of the undead circulated around Lu Yan's body, forming a dark armor that exuded the breath of undead, shrouded Lu Yan's body. Undead Nether Armor, level 3 summons the power of the undead, forming nether armor around the body, which can resist any form of damage. The current resistance value is 35, the duration is 10 minutes, and the cooling time is 5 hours. The undead ghost armor on Lu Yan's body slowly circulated, exuding a heavy breath, as if it could block all attacks. And Lu Yan also checked the attributes of these necromancers. Necro Knight level 9 strength, 38, constitution, 33, agility, 35, intelligence, 8 skill, sprint, charge quickly, along with the increase in movement speed, the attack power increases, and the movement speed increases to the fastest 20% attack power. The agility of these necromancers in front is very high, reaching 35, their mobility is very high, and their strength is also very strong, reaching 38. As expected, it is indeed a nightmare-level college entrance examination. This attribute alone is enough to make most candidates despair. What's more, nearly 100 undead knights launched the charge together. Basically, no candidate can stop such an attack. There is also skill sprinting. If the movement speed of these undead knights reaches the highest, it is equivalent to an increase in strength to about 45. This is already a very terrifying number for candidates. Coupled with a physique of 33, these undead knights are like a nightmare for candidates. How could the difficulty of the nightmare level assessment be passed easily? But unfortunately, Lu Yan has the innate skill Undead Stun, which reduces the attack and defense of all undead creatures by half. Coupled with the Undead Ghost Armor, Lu Yan can completely be harmless when facing these undead Death Knights. At the same time, Lu Yan's strength has reached a terrifying 43, which can cause great damage to these undead Death Knights. But not enough. The duration of the Undead Nether Armor is only 10 minutes. According to the assessment of the previous college entrance examination, the assessment is divided into 4 areas. Lu Yan was already in the 3rd area. As long as he passed the group of Necro Knights, he would be able to meet the final boss. If there is no Undead Ghost Armor, the possibility of Lu Yan being able to clear the level is relatively low. Therefore, Lu Yan has to clear the level directly within the duration of the Undead Nether Armor. In other words, clear the level within 10 minutes. To do this, there is only one way. That is to use the strongest attack state to forcefully push it. Without hesitation, Lu Yan directly used the Nether Soul Scythe. A wave of undead power emerged in Lu Yan's palm, and began to summon the Soul Sickle from the underworld. At the same time, Lu Yan felt that his mental power was being greatly consumed. It seems that summoning the Ghost Scythe requires mental energy. A pitch-black soul scythe slowly emerged from Lu Yan's hand, like a scythe of death. The blade was curved and slender, forming a perfect arc with the handle. Holding the hilt of the Nether Soul Scythe, Lu Yan's body fell slightly, and the blade suddenly rushed out. He took the initiative to meet the necromancer who rushed forward. Leaping up, Lu Yan came directly into the air, and the necromancer who rushed over directly raised the bone spear and stabbed at Lu Yan. Lu Yan didn't care. The ghost sickle in his hand swung up, and the pitch-black blade drew a complete arc around it. Like cutting tofu, the ghost sickle slashed the necks of the necromancers in a circle, and instantly cut their rotten flesh and blood, and made their heads move. And those white bone spears also stabbed in front of Lu Yan and landed on the undead ghost armor. A crisp sound rang out, and Lu Yan took these bone spears without any damage. Soul Fragment, 60/100. Looking at the progress of the collection of soul fragments, the ghost sickle in Lu Yan's hand once again slashed forward. What? The shrill scream sounded. This was the pain that affected the souls of the necromancers, causing them to scream. At this time, Lu Yan was completely like a of war, and he ignored the attacks of the surrounding necromancers. The ghost sickle in his hand kept swinging, harvesting the lives and souls of the surrounding necromancers. Damn it! This is a human? How could it be so fierce? It's too exaggerated, isn't it? There is a limit to being fierce, right? I know you are strong, but tell me what's going on with this defensive power? If you don't dodge it at all, just resist it. Outrageous? It's outrageous. You reading www.uukangsha.com. You told me this is a necromancer? Even a warrior with a full stack of defenses can't be unscathed under the impact of that necromancer, right? Then. But the necromancer on nightmare difficulty. Damn, I have long said that this guy is a hooker. If you don't believe it, investigate it. It must be investigated. Is it okay for someone to cheat? When all the students on the playground saw Lu Yan's actions, they instantly exploded. Although Lu Yan's performance was outrageous just now, isn't it too outrageous? What is that black armor? The necromancer's attack was completely blocked. Didn't you say that you can only wear wooden armor in the college entrance examination? What's going on? A necromancer, even if the attack power is so high, the defense power displayed now is so strong. Could it be that this Lu Yan is really AG? But no one has heard of cheating in the college entrance examination. Everything in the secret mirror is known to the examiner, and there is no possibility of cheating at all. However, before all the teachers and students in the playground could digest Liu Yan's current performance, Liu Yan in the secret mirror had a new move. Soul Fragment, 100/100. After beheading a lot of necromancers, Liu Yan collected soul fragments and synthesized a soul crystal. Without any hesitation, Liu Yan directly used the newly synthesized soul crystal. Consuming a soul crystal can double the effect of Wraith Scythe, but the duration will be reduced by 1 minute. The breath of the Nether Soul Scythe instantly soared, and a dark flame emerged directly from the Nether Soul Scythe, covering the entire blade. Boom! Liu Yan stepped on his feet suddenly, holding the amplified ghost sickle, and charged towards the remaining necromancers in front of him. Liu Yan was not stingy with soul crystals, and he used them directly at the moment when soul crystals were formed. Reduce the use time of Ghost Scythe by 1 minute and double the effect of Ghost Scythe. At this time, Liu Yan's attack power was greatly increased. The skeleton elite behind him has already been left behind by him. Holding the Nether Soul Scythe with burning flames, he came to the front of the undead knights. Liu Yan waved the Nether Soul Scythe in his hand. The power continued to surge, and Liu Yan upgraded to level 9. Without hesitation, he still added the free attribute points to the power. The surrounding necromancers saw Liu Yan's violent appearance, coupled with their own fear of the breath of the undead monarch. Some necromancers fled directly. They are just the undead creatures caught in the secret mirror by the master of the secret mirror, and they will still escape in the face of threats. If you want to get a high score, it is natural to kill all the necromancer knights. But Liu Yan doesn't have that time anymore. Although the duration of the ghost armor is 10 minutes, the duration of the ghost sickle is only 3 minutes. In addition to using the soul crystal just now to enhance the effect of the ghost scythe, the ghost scythe lasts only 2 minutes. 40 seconds have passed now. Go after the necromancer who escaped, and the duration of the ghost scythe is about to expire. Without hesitation, Liu Yan rushed out of the third area and came to the last area of the assessment. This is a cave, and a large number of skeleton soldiers are blocked in the cave. Liu Yan rushed out and took the lead to open the way. The ghost sickle in his hand kept swinging out, and the surrounding skeleton soldiers were instantly dismembered. Soon, Liu Yan came to the innermost place. There is a throne made of dead bones in front, and on the throne, a skeleton figure with a bone staff is sitting quietly. Necromancer? The final boss is a necromancer. Usually, candidates should be extra careful when entering the final level. After all, the final boss is the most difficult existence to deal with in the entire assessment. Basically, the candidates who come here will carefully test the ability of the final boss, and then make a response. But Liu Yan doesn't have that much time anymore. The duration of the ghost scythe still has 50 seconds. Therefore, Liu Yan did not hesitate at all. The moment he entered, he rushed directly towards the necromancer on the throne of withered bones. The necromancer was also stunned for a moment. He didn't expect that Liu Yan would directly charge at it like this. The bone staff in his hand was lifted, and several bone spikes suddenly pierced out from under Liu Yan's feet, as if to penetrate Liu Yan's body. The bone spurs gushing out from the ground are very fast and have a large range, so there is no way to avoid them. If other candidates are so reckless, I am afraid that this time, they may be eliminated. However, the bone spur was directly blocked by the undead ghost armor on Liu Yan's body, and Liu Yan did not suffer any damage. The undead ghost armor is only level 3, and the resistance value is 35. The attack of the necromancer in front of him must exceed this value. However, it is a pity that it is an undead creature. Its attack power and defense power are less than half in front of Liu Yan. Unless the undead mage's attack value exceeds 70, it will not cause any damage to Liu Yan, who is wrapped in undead armor. The necromancer saw that the bone spur was useless, and the fear that suddenly rose in his heart also put away his contempt. The bone staff suddenly pressed down, and 2 bone dragons emerged from the ground beside it. As long as the 2-headed bone dragon can hold the guy in front of him, the necromancer will have a way to continue the attack. Dead Fury. Liu Yan didn't hesitate, and directly used Undead Rage. When he upgraded to level 9 just now, Liu Yan's Undead Rage had been upgraded to level 3. Undead Rage, level 3 enhances the control of all undead creatures' attributes, instantly doubles it for 50 seconds, and increases the movement speed of charging undead creatures by 40%. The cooling time is 3 minutes. The speed of the two skeleton elites behind them suddenly soared, and they quickly rushed to the front of the two bone dragons, blocking them directly. Although the two skull dragons obviously have high combat power, under the blessing of the undead's rage and the reduction of the undead's shock, the two skeleton elites actually blocked the two skull dragons. At this time, Liu Yan had already deceived himself. The nether soul scythe in his hand slashed out directly, and fell towards the necromancer in front. The necromancer looked flustered, and a bone shield emerged from his body, surrounding it. However, the nether soul scythe fell, instantly shattering the bone shield, and the nether soul scythe continued to slash. The arm of the necromancer holding the bone staff was directly cut off. What? At the same time, a shrill scream came from the necromancer's mouth, causing him to hold his head and scream. It is an undead creature, and its arm was cut off without causing it the slightest pain, but the attack of the ghost sickle on the soul made it almost crazy. Liu Yan raised the nether soul scythe again and slashed it directly towards the neck of the necromancer in front of him. The soul attack just now caused the necromancer's spirit to oscillate, and the effect of shocking the undead was even more obvious. It turned out to be shivering and standing still. The ghost sickle slid across the necromancer's neck and directly chopped off its head. At the same time, the soul-killing effect of the nether soul scythe also wipes out the will of the necromancer. The bodies of the two bone dragons summoned by the necromancer suddenly stiffened, and then turned into bone blocks and scattered on the ground. The necromancer is dead. Liu Yan's whole body loosened, and the tide of exhaustion hit him, making him almost unable to hold the ghost sickle in his hand. Such a high-intensity battle, coupled with the consumption of spiritual power by the wraith scythe, if it hadn't been for Liu Yan's constant training, he probably wouldn't have been able to support it. The ghost sickle in his hand dissipated, and Liu Yan sat on the bone throne beside him. Thinking back on the customs clearance process just now, Liu Yan still felt a little timid. The nightmare level difficulty assessment is indeed well deserved. The difficulty of customs clearance is at least 10 times that of the difficult difficulty, and the ordinary difficulty cannot be compared with it. Although Liu Yan acquired the hidden profession Undead Monarch, his previous foundation was very poor after all, and the gap between the early stage and ordinary combat professions was not very obvious. The main reason for being able to pass the nightmare level difficulty assessment is because of the undead creatures in this assessment. Liu Yan's talent and skills can play a big role here, coupled with a decisive choice, is the ultimate success. If there is a problem in any of these links, I am afraid it will be difficult for Liu Yan to pass the assessment of nightmare level difficulty. Moreover, Liu Yan hasn't killed all the undead creatures yet, so the kill points won't be very high. But no matter what, the clearance was successful in the end, and Liu Yan was sure that his kill points might not be very high, but the clearance time was definitely very fast. Thinking of this, Liu Yan looked at the customs clearance time. Trainee, Liu Yan's successful customs clearance nightmare difficulty, 15 minutes and 20 seconds. On the playground, all the teachers and students looked at the curtain in front of them, and all fell into a kind of dead silence. After a while, some teachers and students reacted, pointing to the curtain in front of them, their lips trembling. This is the completion of the customs clearance? This is a nightmare level difficulty. Fuck. I thought the final boss would be a tough battle. Who would have thought that this Liu Yan would kill the final boss so quickly? Did someone calculate how long it took for Senior Liu Yan to kill the final boss? I don't think it took more than half a minute, right? This is too perverted, right? It's so beautiful. Senior Liu Yan's battles are so smooth, even the final boss couldn't last for half a minute. He's so handsome. Hey, from now on, Senior Liu Yan will be my idol. I don't know if I can have a meal with my idol and then have a drink. You girls are secretive, so don't say what you want. I'm different, Senior Liu Yan. I want to fight with you. The surrounding teachers were also shocked, looking at the curtain in front of them carefully. Some rubbed their eyes, and some couldn't believe what they saw. How can there be such a fast beheading speed? That's a nightmare level difficulty. But everything is normal now, and there are no warnings. That is to say, there is no problem with Liu Yan's customs clearance. Nightmare difficulty, 15 minutes and 20 seconds. This definitely breaks the record. Although they didn't kill all the monsters, but with this level of clearance speed, the score is definitely the top 3 in the province, and they can even compete for the first place in the province. The surrounding teachers also became excited. After all, Lu Yan was a student of number 4 high school and represented number 4 high school. The better his grades, the more educational resources the 4th high school will get next year. Zhang Fenjiao stood up directly, unable to hide the joy on his face. Lu Yan's performance was at least the top 3 in the province. Linen number 4 high school was established, and it was the first time that a student with such high grades appeared. How could he not be excited? Wang Muod also had a smile on his face. Although Lu Yan's performance was a little weird, his grades were normal. He must have some secrets to be able to pass the level so quickly. But now no one cares about Lu Yan's secrets, and Lu Yan's achievements are the focus of everyone's attention. Look, Senior Zhou Xinggao is still fighting hard in the Necro Knight area. Although there is no danger, he is very embarrassed. Yet, compared to Senior Lu Yan, it's a stark contrast. Some students pointed at Zhou Xinggao's curtain, and compared with Lu Yan's performance, which further highlighted Lu Yan's tyranny. Direct violence to clear the customs, sweeping all the way. How can you not let the blood of the teachers and students watching? At this time, Lu Yan has not yet come out of the secret mirror, because after killing the final boss just now, Lu Yan has been upgraded to level 10. Name, Lu Yan level 10 occupation, Undead Monarch innate skill, Undead deterrence, as the Undead Monarch. All undead will fear your power, and when facing you, their attack and defense will be reduced by 50%. Innate skill, Nether Soul Eater, as the Undead Monarch, you can devour the power of the soul of creatures that cannot resist the law and use it for your own use, and obtain 1% of the opponent's power. Talent skill, Army of the Undead, as the Lord of the Undead, you can command a huge army of undead, and there is no upper limit to the number of undead you can control. The talent skill is fixed and cannot be upgraded. Undead Nether Armor, level 3 summons the power of the undead, forming nether armor around the body, which can resist any form of damage. The current resistance value is 35, the duration is 10 minutes, and the cooling time is 5 hours. Skull Elite, level 3. Summon 2 skeleton elites to fight for you. Skeleton elite attributes: Strength, 18, Constitution, 20, Agility, 8, Intelligence, 0. Skull elites die in battle and enter a cooldown. The cooling time is 5 minutes. Undead Rage, level 3 enhances the control of all undead creatures' attributes, instantly doubles it for 50 seconds, and increases the movement speed of charging undead creatures by 40%. The cooling time is 3 minutes. Strength, 47 Physique, 13 Agility, 12 Intelligence, 20. Looking at his own attributes, Lu Yan raised his eyebrows. All the free attribute points were added to his strength, which looked a bit strange. But because of this, Lu Yan was able to pass the nightmare level assessment. There are also 4 free attribute points and 1 skill attribute point. Lu Yan thought about it and added these 4 free attribute points to his physique. Although there is an undead ghost armor, it is necessary to increase some physique to save life, and the intelligence is not in a hurry now. Ding, congratulations to the host for upgrading to level 10, awakening the Undead Monarch's exclusive skill Corpse Explosion. Corpse Explosion? Lu Yan raised his eyebrows. This is a serious necromancer skill. But his own seems to be a Corpse Explosion exclusive to the Undead Monarch. Corpse Explosion, Grandmaster level. Activate the corpse to cause an explosion, causing damage within 1 cubic meter. The damage amount is 50% of the intelligence value, plus 50% of the strength value. Grandmaster level Corpse Explosion? Lu Yan's eyes lit up. Generally speaking, Corpse Explosion is a high-level skill of a necromancer, but he didn't expect his own to be at the master level. After reading the introduction, Lu Yan found the difference. Ordinary corpse explosions can only cause 50% of the damage of the intelligence value, but the master level corpse explosion of his own can add 50% of the damage to the strength value. As expected, he is indeed the Undead Monarch who is a double cultivator of monsters. The increase in strength also has an increasing effect on skills. After a brief rest, Lu Yan chose to leave the secret mirror. With a ray of light lit up, the bronze mirror vibrated, and Lu Yan's figure appeared on the playground again. At this time, Lu Yan was wearing wooden armor and holding a wooden staff, as if he had not changed much from before entering. It's just that there is more dust on his body. Compared with other candidates, Lu Yan seems to have gone in for a tour. And all the teachers and students around knew clearly how violently this Lu Yan used to pass the level just now. Fantastic? Senior Lu Yan, apart from these two words, I don't know how to describe you. You are my god. Senior Lu Yan, you are so pretty. I'm a sophomore in high school. Can Senior Lu Yan come to my house tonight to tutor me? There's no one in my house. Senior Lu Yan, my dad is the real estate king of Linen City. Would you like to be my boyfriend? I will let my dad dedicate his resources to help you improve your strengths. Lu Yan was stunned when he heard the cheers and shouts that erupted around him. Although he expected that his performance might cause a sensation, Lu Yan did not expect such a powerful sensation. At this time, the principal Zhang Fenjiao came to Lu Yan and said with a cheerful expression, "Congratulations, Lu Yan, with your performance, you will definitely be able to get the top 3 in the province. However, how did you pass the customs so quickly? Do you have any skills? Can you tell us about it? Let these first-year and second-year students study hard." Listening to the words of Principal Zhang Fenjiao, the surrounding teachers and students all quieted down and looked at Lu Yan with their breath. After all, Lu Yan's violent clearance made everyone wonder why he was able to do that. Looking at the eyes of the surrounding teachers and students, and listening to the question from the principal Zhang Fenjiao, Lu Yan fell silent. I can't say that I awakened the hidden profession Undead Sovereign for the second time, and passed the level with the innate skills of Undead Sovereign, right? Although it is not necessary to hide his strengths, Lu Yan doesn't want to reveal his hidden occupation as an undead monarch. After all, he has not yet grown up. At this moment, Wang Mud came over and said, "It goes without saying, of course it's a talent. Didn't you see it?" Lu Yan got the Skeleton Minion skill book, but just after he learned it, after entering the secret realm, he realized that he became a skeleton elite, which is enough to see Lu Yan's talent in undead power. The armor with strong defense power that appeared behind, and the black sickle at the end must also be the power of the undead that Lu Yan realized. Although it is said that the necromancer has few skills, Lu Yan's talent in the power of the undead can be said to be unprecedented. He will definitely become the strongest necromancer in the future, and maybe he will be able to rejuvenate the fighting profession of the necromancer. Wang Mud looked confident, as if he had already seen through the reason why Lu Yan was so powerful. Listening to Wang Mud's words, the surrounding teachers and students nodded in agreement. Indeed, it can only be explained by the talent for the power of the undead. After all, they clearly saw that the skeleton minion skill turned into a skeleton elite. 3 days after awakening to the combat profession, Lu Yan realized 2 powerful undead skills. No wonder he chose the difficulty level of Nightmare. This is confidence in one's own strengths. Lu Yan glanced at Wang Mud, then smiled. It just happened to understand 2 powerful undead skills. This time, the difficulty of clearing the Nightmare level also took up a lot of luck. Although Lu Yan was modest, the surrounding teachers and students still heard all kinds of praises. It takes 3 days for the college entrance examination to be completed, and the score points will be released. At that time, various rewards will also be issued. Zhang Fenjiao knew that Lu Yan must be the top 3 in the province, so he gave Lu Yan a school reward in advance. 5 essence tonics and 3 million energy coins. Energy coin is a more advanced currency. 1 energy coin is equivalent to 10 yuan, but some things can only be purchased with energy coins. 3 million energy coins are equivalent to 30 million base currency. This is the highest college entrance examination reward of the 4th high school. Zhang Fenjiao is sure that Lu Yan will be the first in the school, and there is no doubt that he is the one. So there is no problem with sending it in advance. Lu Yan accepted the reward, and instead of waiting for Zhang Wei, he turned on his cell phone, which was shut down because of the college entrance examination, and planned to call Luo Liulai first to tell her the good news. However, as soon as he turned on the phone, Lu Yan saw several missed calls, all of which were from Director Huang of the Central Hospital. Why did Director Huang suddenly call himself? Medical bills shouldn't be spent so quickly, right? Lu Yan frowned slightly and called back. Hello, Lu Yan? Your phone just couldn't get through. Something happened to Luo Liulai. Come to the hospital as soon as possible. Director Wang's voice was a little anxious. After saying a word, he hung up the phone. Lu Yan's body froze, and then he suddenly rushed out of the principal's office. Zhang Fenjiao was stunned for a moment, then realized what might have happened to Lu Yan, and hurriedly chased after him. The current Lu Yan is the sweet potato of number 4 high school, so nothing can happen. Lu Yan rushed out of the school and stood anxiously on the side of the road to stop the car. At this moment, a black car stopped in front of Lu Yan. Zhang Fengjiu rolled down the car window and looked at Lu Yan, and said, "Lu Yan, what happened? Where are you going? Take my car." Lu Yan didn't speak. He got into the car and looked at Zhang Fengjiu and said, "Principal, it's better to go to the central hospital quickly." Seeing Lu Yan's anxious look, Zhang Fengjiu didn't talk nonsense either. He just kicked the accelerator and headed towards the central hospital. In 10 minutes, Zhang Fengjiu rushed to the central hospital. Lu Yan opened the car door and rushed inside. Zhang Fengjiu hurriedly followed behind. Soon, Lu Yan came to Luo Liulai's ward, but he didn't see Luo Liulai. "Lu Yan, this way." From the side came Director Wang's voice, who was standing at the door of the emergency room not far away waving. Lu Yan glanced at the emergency room where the operation was underway. His heart suddenly sank, and he walked over quickly. "Director Huang, what happened? Where's my sister?" Lu Yan grabbed Director Wang's wrist and asked. Director Huang frowned and said, "At 11 o'clock this morning, when the nurse went to change your sister's medicine, she found that your sister was unconscious and covered in blood and wounds. She hurriedly sent her to the emergency room for treatment." "What?" Lu Yan said angrily. "How could this happen? Isn't this a hospital? How could something happen to my sister?" Director Huang hurriedly said, "Don't worry, this matter has nothing to do with our hospital. After checking the surveillance, we learned that a masked man entered your sister's ward and broke the camera inside. It should be him. Did it? This is also your dereliction of duty? How can a stranger enter my sister's ward?" When Lu Yan heard that Luo Liulai was injured again, www.uukangshu.com was furious. Zhang Fengjiu, who was beside him, hurried forward. "Lu Yan, don't get excited. What matters now is your sister's condition." Director Huang, right? How is Lu Yan's sister's condition? When Lu Yan heard the words, his berserk sanity recovered a little. He let go of Director Huang's hand and stared at Director Huang. Director Huang said, "Judging from the situation at the time, Luo Liulai was not life-threatening, but she did not heal herself. This injury will deepen her situation, especially her right arm, which was injected with a sword. If the gas is destroyed, it is likely to be scrapped." Lu Yan's body trembled, resisting the anger in his heart, looking at Director Huang and said, "Monitoring. I want to watch the monitoring." He wanted to know who did this to Luo Liulai. Director Huang did not hesitate and took Lu Yan to watch the surveillance. The monitoring showed the same as what Director Huang said. A masked man in black entered Luo Liulai's ward and left quickly. Then the nurse discovered Luo Liulai's situation and hurriedly notified the doctor, and pushed Luo Liulai into the room. Emergency room. Who is this guy? Lu Yan looked at the masked man on the screen and wanted to tear him to pieces. Director Huang said, "It's not clear yet. We have already called the police, but the murderer was very cautious and didn't show his face at all. It is estimated that it will be difficult to find." Zhang Fengjiu, who was beside him, saw Lu Yan's mood fluctuated again, and hurriedly stepped forward and said, "Lu Yan, don't get excited. I know the director of the Public Security Department. He has a tracking team composed of auxiliary professionals, and he will definitely be able to find the murderer. I'll call him right now. You should stabilize your emotions first. You just finished the college entrance examination, and your physical strength is very high. If you bully your body like this, you will have problems." In the study room of a manor in the eastern suburbs of Linen City, Wang Feng knelt on the ground, not daring to look directly at the figure behind the desk in front of her. The figure placed his right hand on the desk, tapped his fingers lightly, and said helplessly, "Wang Feng, how many times have I told you, don't be in such a hurry? I remember telling you before. This Lu Yan has to wait until after the college entrance examination, then decide what to do with him. Now he has performed so well in the college entrance examination. Professionals tell me that he has stabilized in the top 3 in the province, but you have made other people's sisters like that. This makes it difficult for me." Wang Feng lowered his head and said, "Boss, it was my mistake this time. Before I started, I adjusted his details. I didn't expect that a guy who had awakened a necromancer could still perform so well in the college entrance examination. Furthermore, we just need him to inherit the power of the necromancer in Singa and complete the ceremony. It is not a real solicitation, so I arranged for Hu Wei to use his sister's affairs to make him willing to accept the inheritance. Human Shadow said, I know, if it wasn't for the inheritance of power and the need for the soul to have no resistance, I would directly let people arrest him, but sometimes things are so delicate. Since things have happened, they need to be resolved after all. Wang Feng hurriedly said, I can personally bring someone to apologize and ask for Lu Yan's forgiveness, so I won't bring trouble to Xinjia. When the figure heard the words, the fingers that tapped the desk paused. Wang Feng, you've been in Xinjia for 10 years, haven't you? You've always been in charge of recruiting people, and you haven't gone further. Do you know why? Wang Feng said, that's because my ability is not enough, I can only be in this position. Ren Ying said with a smile, you are right about this, but there is another point, that is, your vision is too narrow, and you can't look at the problem comprehensively. Like Lu Yan, what is our purpose? Is it to recruit him? No, then why should we apologize? It's not that we need to apologize if we did something wrong. Besides, if the apology is useful, the world will not. There are so many disputes. Our purpose is to complete the ceremony. Since the method of inheriting the power of Xinga Necromancer is not enough, let's use another method. The corpses of the 3 necromancers are the same to complete the ceremony. Wang Feng's heart jumped, and she raised her head suddenly and said, Boss, do you mean to kill this Lu Yan? However, his college entrance examination results are so good, he will definitely attract the attention of the above, which will bring trouble to Xinjia. The figure stood up and went to Wang Feng and continued, look, I'm taking a one-sided view of the problem again. This Lu Yan's potential is indeed good, but it's limited to that. Does he have any background? Does he have any strong helpers? He is alive, and naturally, many people will pay attention and even win over him. But if it's dead, it's of no value, and it won't touch us for a dead person. Even if he did so well in the college entrance examination, it doesn't make much sense. He is just an orphan with no power or power. In this world, not everyone can change their lives against the sky. Kill him, then bring the corpse back, and then find the corpse of a necromancer to complete the ritual. The offending thing is resolved, and the ritual can be completed. This is what you should propose. Wang Feng lowered his head and said, I understand. Go ahead and make arrangements. Remember not to use Xinjia's person, and kill him before the results of the college entrance examination. Lu Yan waited in front of the emergency room for half an hour, and his mood also stabilized at this time. The director of the Linen Public Security Bureau also attached great importance to this matter, and came to investigate this matter directly. At this moment, the emergency room door opened and Luo Liulai was pushed out. At this time, Luo Liulai was all wrapped in bandages, like a mummy, and there was a sword wound on her forehead, leaving a mark. Luo Liulai closed her eyes tightly and frowned slightly, as if she was enduring some pain. Doctor, how is my sister? Lu Yan hurriedly greeted her and asked the doctor who was treating her. The doctor took off the mask and said, the patient's condition is already stable, but a large amount of sword energy has been injected into her body, which cannot be eliminated. The person who did it should be a swordsman, and the attack is very ruthless. We can only temporarily stabilize her situation, but she will always suffer from the pain of the sword chi in the body. If you want to solve it, you can either find a mid-grade sword pill to dissolve the sword chi in her body, or break her hamstrings. Tetsujin, let the sword chi release, but then she will also become a waste. A mid-grade sword pill? Lu Yan's brows were slightly wrinkled. The sword pill was created by a swordsman who gathered his lifelong kendo insights and sword energy. Generally, they are condensed when they are about to die, and they are reserved for inheritance, and not all swordsmen can condense sword pills. Moreover, swordsmen who condense sword pills need to endure the pain of 10,000 swords piercing the body. Basically, few swordsmen choose to condense sword pills. As a result, sword pills are very scarce and have no market value. What's more, it's a mid-grade sword pill. As for the way to break the tendons of the hamstrings and hands, Lu Yan didn't even think about it. As long as there is a glimmer of hope, Lu Yan will not let Luo Liulai become a waste. Doctor, is there any way to relieve the pain caused by sword chi? Lu Yan looked at the doctor and asked. It is estimated that it will take a while to find the mid-grade Jianwan, so now Luo Liulai needs to be relieved from the pain of the sword qi. Hearing the words, the doctor said, increasing physical fitness can relieve pain. If conditions permit, a bottle of qi and blood supplements a day can minimize pain. Lu Yan nodded, and then Luo Liulai was pushed into the qi ward, with special personnel to guard. Just after the surgery, Luo Liulai still needs some time to wake up. Zhang Fengjiao looked at Lu Yan and said, "Don't worry too much, I will help you find out about Jianwan." Lu Yan looked at Zhang Fengjiao and said gratefully, "Thank you, Principal, if there is news about Jianwan, please let me know. No matter how expensive it is. Lu Yan will help Luo Liulai find Jianwan." At this time, Li Jianfeng, the director of the Public Security Bureau, came over. Zhang Fengjiao went up to him and asked, "Old Li, how's the investigation going?" Li Jianfeng looked at Zhang Fengjiao and nodded, then his eyes fell on Lu Yan. "You are Lu Yan, aren't you? We have found the murderer, Hu Wei from Singa." Hearing this, Lu Yan raised his head and said, "I want to know his information, please let Director Li tell me. To do such a thing to Sister Liulai, Lu Yan will never let this guy go." Li Jianfeng frowned when he heard this, then looked at Lu Yan and said, "Student Lu Yan, I came here today as if I wanted to tell you about this. I mean, you don't need to know too much about this matter, we will take responsibility." Listening to Li Jianfeng's words, Lu Yan frowned, "Why don't I know too much?" Li Jianfeng looked at Lu Yan and said, "I'm also doing it for your own good. Singa's forces are huge and intertwined. It's not good for you to fight them. I watched the video of your college entrance examination. You performed very well. Your future achievements are limitless. Don't ruin it in Singa's hands." Lu Yan raised his eyebrows. "Director Li means that Xinjia has turned my sister into this, and he wants to do something to me." Before Li Jianfeng could speak, Zhang Fengjiao, who was beside him, said angrily, "Does Xinjia want to rebel? Lu Yan must be the top 3 in the province in this exam. They dare to attack Lu Yan, and I will fight with them." Li Jianfeng looked at Zhang Fengjiao and said, "Old Zhang, you should know how powerful Singa is. Besides, the Public Security Bureau needs evidence to do things. If Singa lets other people move Lu Yan, even if it is discovered, it will not involve Singa." Then Li Jianfeng looked at Lu Yan and said, "I know you will definitely be very angry in your heart, but that's the way it is. You will be very successful in the future. It is not too late for a gentleman to take revenge for 10 years. When you grow up, you will be able to take revenge while saving your life when you face Singa." Zhang Fengjiao on the side was stunned, knowing that Li Jianfeng was telling the truth. Now that the results of the college entrance examination have not yet come out, Lu Yan's ranking is not yet known, and there is indeed no strength to contend against Singa. It may be the best choice for Lu Yan now. Li Jianfeng originally thought that Lu Yan would be angry. After all, young people are still more aggressive. However, to Li Jianfeng's surprise, Lu Yan looked at him calmly and said, "Director Li, how will you handle this matter?" Li Jianfeng pondered for a while, and then said, "We will arrest Hu Wei and ask him to pay for the medical expenses, but this matter will not involve Singa." Lu Yan was silent for a while, then nodded and said, "I understand. If there is nothing to do, Director Li, please come back." Li Jianfeng glanced at Lu Yan, sighed, then got up and left. Zhang Fengjiao also quickly followed. As soon as he came outside, Zhang Fengjiao said angrily to Li Jianfeng, "Let's just forget about it. Hu Wei belongs to Singa, and he must have been ordered by Singa. Who is behind the orders? You won't investigate?" Li Jianfeng said helplessly, "No way, the stability of Linen City is the most important thing. What if Singa riots because of this incident? Arresting the direct perpetrator Hu Wei and asking him to compensate is the limit of what I can do." Zhang Fengjiao opened his mouth, but in the end he didn't say anything. He knew that stability was an excuse, and the most fundamental reason was that it was not worth fighting with Xinjia for the sake of Lu Yan. In the ward, Lu Yan sat quietly beside Luo Liulai's bed, looking at Luo Liulai, wondering what she was thinking. No, Luo Liulai frowned, slowly opened her eyes, and groaned when she woke up. The sword energy swept through the body, causing Luo Liulai to feel pain every moment. "Xiao Yan." Luo Liulai looked at Lu Yan and said softly. Lu Yan came back to his senses, looked at Luo Liulai and hurriedly asked, Sister Liulai, how do you feel? Luo Liulai eased her brows when she heard the words, looked at Lu Yan and smiled, I'm fine, Xiao Yan, you don't have to worry about me. By the way, Xiao Yan, how did you perform in the college entrance examination? Looking at Luo Liulai's efforts to change the subject, Lu Yan felt sour in his heart. Sister Liulai, why don't you care about your own situation? Luo Liulai's smile froze, then looked at Lu Yan and said, Xiao Yan, you should also know that someone has attacked me, but no matter who the other party is, you should not seek revenge. Luo Liulai knew in her heart that if she could cause such damage to her in a short period of time, she was definitely not weak. And these days, she and Lu Yan have only rejected Xinjia's invitation to Lu Yan, so Luo Liulai must be Xinjia doing it. Lu Yan had just changed his fighting career, and Luo Liulai didn't want Lu Yan to provoke the behemoth Singa because of herself. Seeing Luo Liulai's serious face, Lu Yan said softly, Sister Liulai, don't worry, I won't be impulsive, the Public Security Bureau will handle this matter. That's good, Xiao Yan, you haven't said how you performed in the college entrance examination this time. Lu Yan forced a smile and said, it's not bad. When the results of the college entrance examination come out, it's better that Sister Liulai should not be scared. Hearing Lu Yan say this, a smile appeared on Luo Liulai's face. It seems that you are doing well, Xiao Yan. I'm looking forward to the time when the results of the college entrance examination will come out. Lu Yan chatted with Luo Liulai for a while. Director Huang came in and injected Luo Liulai with qi and blood tonic, and then Lu Yan left the ward. Luo Liulai needs to rest now. Besides, Lu Yan also has something to do. After leaving the hospital, Lu Yan took a taxi to the Helan Exchange in Linen City. Helan Exchange is a nationwide chain of stores that sells all kinds of things. There are equipment, skill books, special props, and even some aliens. The door to the void opened, bringing not only monsters, but also aliens such as elves. There are often wars between aliens and humans, and it is not uncommon for some aliens to be arrested and sold, such as the elves that are rich and beautiful women. UU reading www.uukangshu.com even has a special hunting team to catch and sell. When he came to the Helan Exchange, Lu Yan walked in with a crystal card of 3 million energy coins in his arms. Sir, welcome to Helan Exchange. I'm Xiaoqi, a shopping guide. What do you need to buy? As soon as he entered, a beautiful woman in uniform greeted him, looked at Lu Yan and smiled. Lu Yan looked at her and said directly, you guys also sell information here, right? The shopping guide was stunned for a moment, but very few people came to buy information. However, she is still very professional, and then smiled. Of course, sir, please come with me, and I will take you to the place where the information is traded. Lu Yan nodded, followed behind the shopping guide, and walked towards the Helan Exchange. The entire Ocean Wave Exchange is very large, with various items on display. On the way, Lu Yan saw several pieces of platinum-level equipment. This kind of thing that was looted outside was casually thrown into the showcase at the Helan Exchange. Of course, the price is also staggering. Entering the inner position, the shopping guide led Lu Yan into a well-decorated room. Pushing the door and entering, Lu Yan saw an old man with glasses flipping through the documents in his hand. Uncle Li, this gentleman wants to buy information. I brought him here. You will receive it. The shopping guide looked at the old man inside and said with a very respectful expression. The old man waved his hand and asked the shopping guide to go out, then looked at Lu Yan and said with a smile, Sir, what information do you want to ask? I have different prices here according to different intelligence levels. Lu Yan didn't hesitate, and said directly, how much is the intelligence of Singa and Singa members Hu Wei and Wang Feng? Lu Yan has no idea that it is not too late for a gentleman to take revenge for 10 years. If he could, he would be too late for a minute. Besides, even if he chooses to settle things down, will Singa just let it go? An enemy who performed so well in the college entrance examination, I am afraid that Singa will not make it easier for him. Instead of waiting for Xinjia to come to the door, it is better to take the initiative. The old man in front of him smiled and said, Mr. is too general. There is a lot of news about Singa. What do you want? Specifically, I want information on Singa's personnel distribution. As for Hu Wei and Wang Feng, I want to know their information in detail, including their address and strengths. Hearing the words, the old man checked it out, then looked at Lu Yan and said, Singa's personnel distribution is not important information, and Hu Wei's information is not so important, but Wang Feng is one of the core figures of Xinjia, and her information will be more expensive. I'll do the math for you. If you add it all up, you'll need 100,000 energy coins. Lu Yan raised his eyebrows. Not bad, a little cheaper than he expected. Okay, just 100,000 energy coins. Lu Yan paid the money, and soon got the information he wanted. The old man also gave some simple information about the well-known masters. In Singa, these information are public and worthless. Just looking at the information, Lu Yan already has a number in his heart. Singa's strength is still very strong, and there are many masters. With his current strength, it is impossible to compete with Singa. But Hu Wei is only a grassroots staff of Singa, and his status is not high in Singa. He lives in a dilapidated villa in the west of the city with his younger brother on weekdays. Hu Wei was a 20th level swordsman, and his strength in Linen City was considered to be low-medium. Don't look at Lu Yan and the other candidates who can quickly rise to the 10th level in the college entrance examination, but that is because of the help of the secret mirror. If you are in the wild, you don't know how many monsters you have to kill to get to level 10. And the further back you go, the slower the upgrade will be. Level 20, it's not bad, at least it's fun to mix it up. On the other hand, Wang Feng is a summoner, only level 18, and his strength is not strong. But she lives in the villa area arranged by Singa, where all members of Singa live and have strict security. The information given by the old man also included the security system of the villa area, and even had loopholes. These 100,000 energy coins are very worth it. Lu Yan's target is Hu Wei and Wang Feng. As for the entire Singa, Lu Yan is now impossible to compete. After briefly sorting out the information, Lu Yan walked out and returned to the lobby of the Helan Exchange. The shopping guide Xiaoqi has been waiting at the door. When she sees Lu Yan coming out, she doesn't ask how the transaction is going inside, she simply asks, Sir, do you have any other needs here? Lu Yan nodded and said, I need some weapons and equipment, as well as special items, preferably at the gold level. The grades of equipment items are sorted by whiteboard, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and diamonds. The gold grade is the best quality that Lu Yan can buy now. The shopping guide's eyes are bright. Gold level equipment, this is a big customer. Looking at Lu Yan, the shopping guide asked, I don't know what weapons and equipment Mr. needs. I'll take you to find them according to your requirements. Lu Yan thought about it for a while and said, I want a black sickle as a weapon. If it's defensive equipment, just get a set. The defense doesn't need to be too high, it needs to be able to speed up the movement. I'll look at the special props before choosing. Okay, sir, come with me. After hearing Lu Yan's request, the shopping guide led Lu Yan to the east side of the inquiry. The sickle weapon is a relatively unpopular equipment, but after all, the Helan Exchange is a nationwide chain, and there are more unpopular equipment. Soon, the shopping guide brought Lu Yan to a row of black sickles. There are all kinds of black sickles here, there are more than 20 in total. Lu Yan checked it carefully, compared various attributes, and chose a black sickle that was somewhat similar to the ghost sickle. Black bone sickle grade, gold equipment strength plus 15, intelligence plus 9, made of bone dragon spine, with undead power. Incidental skills, spirit tide, condense the power of the undead, form a tide, and shock the soul in the front area, which can cause intimidating and stiffening effects. The quality is not bad, and it also comes with a skill, which is not bad among gold equipment. How much is this sickle? Lu Yan asked directly. The shopping guide said, Sir, the current price of this sickle is 500,000 energy coins. The price of weapons and equipment will fluctuate. At present, 500,000 energy coins are considered a reasonable price. It is not expensive, but it is not cheap. I want it, take me to see the defense equipment. The shopping guide smiled even more, and took Lu Yan directly to the area of defense equipment, letting Lu Yan choose. The defense equipment here is full of Lin Liang, so Lu Yan chose a whole set of defense equipment after neutralizing the price factor for a long time. Wind Spirit Armor Grade, Gold Equipment Physique plus 5, Agility plus 4, Armor blessed by Wind Spirits, characterized by lightness. Wind Spirit Helm Grade, Gold Equipment Physique +4, Agility +3, a helmet blessed by wind spirits, characterized by lightness. Wind Spirit Bracers Grade, Gold Equipment Intelligence +5. UU Reading www.uukangsha.com Agility +2, the bracer blessed by the wind spirit, characterized by lightness. Wind Spirit Boots Grade, Gold Equipment Intelligence +3, Agility +8, boots blessed by wind spirits, characterized by lightness. The 4 parts, all attributes are good, the most important thing is that they are all worn and the effect of the suit. Set effect, Wind Spirit, Agility. +6, get the effect of silent sound, walking will not make any sound. Lu Yan is going to fight Hu Wei and Wang Feng, naturally it is impossible to make a big splash. This wind spirit suit is very suitable for him. Of course, the price is not cheap, it requires a full 1.5 million energy crystals. After buying it, Lu Yan only has 900,000 energy crystals left. Take me to the special item area. Lu Yan looked at the shopping guide beside him and said, special props are generally one-time use, and will have various effects after use. The shopping guide brought Lu Yan to the special props area and introduced them one by one. Soon, Lu Yan's eyes fell on a talisman. Soundproof sign after use. The sound of any area within 100 meters can be completely isolated from the outside world. This is a good thing. It may not be useful to deal with Hu Wei, but it must be useful to deal with Wang Feng. At this time, Lu Yan's eyes fell on a roll of worn-out sheepskin. There were strange characters written on the parchment, and it was unclear what it was. The above introduction made Lu Yan interested. The scroll of the undead. The parchment scroll obtained from the undead creatures can open a random undead skill book.